Hi, this is Alex. In this short video, I'd like to share with you 3 more ways to keep your long distance relationship healthy and growing.
But first, how would you like an ongoing supply of free reports, helpful resources and unique cultural insights for meeting, dating and marrying a Vietnamese woman? Too easy. Just take a quick moment to subscribe and click the bell icon, and you'll never miss out again.
So this video is part of a series of how to keep a long distance relationship healthy and growing at the same time. So tip number 1 out of 3 in this video is, I would say that what you want to do is definitely support your lady's interests and also growth as well. So let me share with you my personal story so you have some context. So for Vanessa and I, we were in a situation where we were apart for about maybe 9 months, about 4 hours apart. So it wasn't like, I just kind of we can visit each other on a whim, right? On short notice. We had to really plan that out. But during that time, one of the things that, this advice that I'm sharing with you came from because of the fact that in the early days, I wanted to basically, anytime she was available, just get on a call and chat and catch up and everything. And then then what she wanted to do though is because part of the reason why she moved was to start a business in a new city. And also then, and part of that is she was meeting new people, and then of course she was exposed to different things, and so she started picking up different hobbies and interests. And at first, I would have to say that I was a little bit resentful because my expectations like, well, since we're apart, let's spend every bit available time we have together. But it dawned on me that and also by reading books and also talking to a number of folks, and then also just kind of really observing what was happening, it dawned on me that what I was doing is I wasn't supporting her in her growth, and also her the other interests that she was picking up by being with a new group of folks. And so when we sat down and talked about this, and then we basically what we did is we came up with a balance, right? When she came here, she was starting a new business and she was hiring people, and of course she was also growing as a manager and as a a business owner as well. And the folks that she was meeting, because it was a larger city where we came from, and we had a larger Asian population, she was exposed to a lot of stuff that she hadn't been had access to from where we were. For example, a lot more restaurants, a lot more different interests, and also a lot of different a lot of folks that that she didn't meet as much back in where we were from. And so because of that, I would have to say that her network grew dramatically, right? So of course that leads to different interests, and of course meeting different people from different backgrounds and whatnot. And so then what we did is, like I said, we came up with a balance. I said, I'm gonna do everything I can to support her, and then when I the times that I could physically visit her that worked for both our schedule, then we said, look, when I'm in town, let's cut back a little bit on what you're doing and then spend more time together. But on a daily or certainly on a daily level, I had to accommodate the fact that there were just days when she was extraordinarily busy, and maybe we could only catch up for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, right? And if we hadn't made that adjustment, I think that the relationship would have probably taken a hit. So that's one advice I would give you, right? Is just beware of support support your lady if she's basically has other interests that she'd also like to do, because that's going to make her a strong basically a more well-rounded person, and overall your relationship's going to basically be much stronger and grow because of that. So for tip number 2, I would recommend that you want to remind your partner frequently about what you love about her and also the relationship. Okay, in a long distance relationship, 3 negative feelings you have to be on the lookout for continually, daily or sometimes even more frequently, are doubts, insecurities, and jealousy. Any of these negative feelings can seriously undermine the health of your relationship, which obviously is what you don't want, all right? And the way you address that is to have frequent verbal reassurances. Now, if you're in a situation where you work in an office where it's hard to leave voice messages, then for at least during the day, you may just want to send text messages, right? Even the busiest person can figure out during a break or something to go send a text message. Now that alone is most of the time is not sufficient. Then at the end of the evening or during lunch break, you probably want to send her voice messages. Now if you two are in the same, both parties are in the US or in the same country, you may want to do a quick call. If it turns out that you're here and she's in Vietnam and there's a significant time zone difference, it's probably going to be a little bit difficult to do this during your lunch break, right? You may have to wait until after hours. But certainly you can still send, like I said, short short voice messages as well. And of course, wherever you can, the best way to communicate with somebody, especially in a long distance relationship, is to see, definitely schedule, regular Zoom calls like this. As I mentioned earlier, Vanessa and I were in a long distance relationship for about 8 or 9 months. And so we use a combination of text messages, voice messages, phone calls, and also Zoom calls, because that, all of those combined, while they won't replace, being right next to to your lady, it's a way to keep the relationship still moving forward. All right. And one thing you may want to consider doing, or basically, a phrase that I found that really provides reassurance for her and for yourself as well, is that I love you and I wish that we could be here together today. All right. So that simple phrase, let me say it again. I love you and I wish we were here together today. You see, that simple phrase right there provides reassurance. It expresses your feelings, which is, of course, you love her, and that you really, wish that you two were together, not just in the future, but, like right this moment. But again, the situation is such that you two can't be together. You see, so, simple things like that just, provides reassurance. And here's something I found, I mentioned earlier that I do want to emphasize here a little bit. It's important to have long, extended conversation, but also don't let too much time pass. This was something I had to really come to, learn. All right. And because a long distance relationship was something neither one of us were really used to. I had to learn how to basically do more frequent, shorter messages. You see, because my tendencies, I tend to basically do very long messages once a day or maybe once every other day. All right. And I pour my heart out. But then, a day, or in some case 2 or more days would pass. And then, Vanessa would be like, okay, what happened? And so you have to kind of balance this a little bit. Whatever you think is sufficient, be a little bit more frequent than that. Okay. And I'm not talking about doing 30-minute calls 5 times a day or anything extreme like that. Like I said, a couple short text messages, I love you, I wish we were here together, voicemail messages like that, or even, more frequent is in many ways more reassuring. And I found that leads to a healthier relationship than letting too much time pass. You have to understand that when you're in a long distance relationship and you're longing to be with the other person, a day can feel like a week. And so even though maybe only a couple of hours have passed, your mind plays tricks on you. You think it's been a couple of days since, you two last spoke. And if you're not aware of that, then the next time you hop on a call, it could have only been a day. But your lady could have thought, well, it felt like a week. You see, or vice versa. And so this is where, again, those 3 negative feelings I mentioned earlier come up, right? Doubts, insecurity, and jealousy. Because it felt like a week since you just spoke. And now, of course, your brain's playing all kind of negative noise, right? It says, well, who you out with, right? What are you doing? What are you doing and everything? And it could be that you just spoke, 2 hours ago, right? Or at least you just sent a text to each other 2 hours ago. But your mind plays tricks on you. You think it felt like 2 days ago. So that's one reason why, short, frequent interactions or messages to reassure you and your lady that you love her and you wish you two could be together, really, really is useful. This is something that I personally learned. So this last tip I'd like to share with you is respect the reason why you're apart. Okay, because if you watch, any Hollywood movie, right, you basically see these, larger than life demonstration of love, right? Oh, I quit my job. I walked away from my 30-year career, and basically do all of this stuff just to be here and to prove my love for you and all that. That makes for a great movie, but in real life, that can actually be quite, devastating. Here's what I mean. Again, let's just use myself and Vanessa, right? A big reason why, we ended up in a long distance relationship was because I wanted to support her because she wanted to start a new business, and I knew that she was going to grow as a person, and also, personally and also professionally. You see, now I have the advantage that I can work from anywhere as long as I have internet connection and I have my laptop. So it would have been very tempted for me to just kind of pack everything, right, just drop everything and kind of move down here. But even so, I had certain roots and certain things I wanted to wrap up before joining her here in this new city. And so while it'd been very tempting for me to just drop everything and come here to demonstrate, again, like some larger than life, demonstration of my love, it would actually be impulsive, and worse, it can actually be, I won't necessarily say destructive, but it can be a setback. Because I realize that, you may not be in a position where you could pack up everything. So regardless how tempted you are to do something impulsive, don't let a split this don't let something don't make a split second decision, because that can actually end up, you may think that this is actually a great demonstration of love, but in some ways, unfortunately, it actually can backfire if you're not careful. What I mean by that is there's a reason, right, why you two are apart right now. It could be professionally, it could just be circumstantial, right, because you happen to live here, she lives in Vietnam, or maybe in another part of the country, maybe another part of the US, or another part of the same country, whatever, right? And if you do something too impulsive, then typically it rarely works out. As I said, this is great, for Harlequin novels and Hollywood movies, but in real life, there's things that, there's repercussions. I'm not going to say consequences, but there's usually repercussions, if you make a decision too quickly, especially if you're planning to move to another city or another country, you see. So it's far better, and this goes back to my previous point, right? A lot of time, I've had friends, and I know situations where, usually the guy, he's so infatuated, with the lady that he decides just, either quit his job or basically just, leave without really, making the proper planning. And then when they get together, it turns out that, it because it wasn't planned properly, it didn't move forward as much as, both parties wanted. All right. And so this is this again, I was saying earlier in the previous video, right? Sometimes this happens because of the fact that doubt, insecurity, and jealousy sets in. I know of cases where the guy got insecure and just felt, oh well, I'm not there, what's going to happen, all right? And so then they basically do a last, somewhat impulsive, and they move across the country, or more extreme, they move across the world. And then that, because it wasn't really thought through, it actually ended up slowing down, or worse, actually undoing several months or years that's built in a relationship, because now you can actually this can actually create doubt, and in some cases concern with your lady, because like, well, that was kind of impulsive. If we're going to have a life together, are you going to do something this impulsive again? What happens if we start a family, and you get this impulse, and you suddenly just kind of pack up and just do something impulsive, all right? And so this is something that I really want to emphasize, okay, in that really explore why you two are apart. Okay, again, that could be circumstantial, it could be professional. Really think through, like put together a plan, either with somebody's help or talk to your friends or whatever, or definitely, with your lady, and come up with a realistic plan. All right. Now, many of you watching this, you're watching this video, it's likely that, there's a potential that you maybe want to talk to a lady in Vietnam, all right, or in the U.S. And right now, the reality is that as of this video, COVID is a reality, you see, and so that has to be factored into the situation. And so there just may be, practical restrictions that you two can't get together for the near future because of, quarantine reasons or whatever. But at least, know that, acknowledge that, and as I said, I've already said it once or twice in this video, is definitely don't do anything impulsive, okay? Because of, one of the three reasons I mentioned in the previous tip, which is doubt, jealousy, or insecurities. Because those, making a decision based on any of those three feelings rarely ends up well, okay? So as I said, my name is Alex. I hope these three videos have proved valuable to you. This is part of a series that we have where we do share tips on how to keep a long-distance relationship healthy and growing, all right? If you find this video valuable, please click the subscribe button. We'd also love to hear your feedback on what you like about this video or our series and how we can improve it. And if you'd like to also then explore about how we can help you make personal introduction to Vietnamese women, please reach out to us as well. All right. So this is Alex signing off, and I'll talk to you in the next video.